podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
I'm Chuck Norris, and I approve this game.
Welcome to the Roll for Initiative podcast. The Roll for Initiative podcast, volume number 3, issue number 114. DM Vince analyzes alongside DM Nick today.
Hello, everybody.
Today we're going old school, back to the old days when it was just me and Nick sitting side by side.
Yes, side by side, thousands of miles away.
Well, be quiet. Shh. The illusion. Blue, blue, Anyway, DM Matt cannot join us today because we're wishing him the best of luck as he's involved in a large, I believe, final round of the HeroClix tournament where he can actually win a whole lot of stuff. So, good luck to Matt.
Yes, good luck, Matt, to you. Hope you win the tournament. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, if he wins, I believe he was saying he gets a badge and transportation and a bunch of other stuff to Dragon Con, or...
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's what he was wrote in his email to me. So hopefully he wins, and good luck, Matt. And hopefully he's not listening to this editing the show going, you beep, 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 because he lost.
You son of a beep.
Yeah. So, it's been a week since we had a show. So, Nick, what have you been up to?
Well, let's see. My friend Jeff started another new campaign.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Just trying something out, see how everybody liked it, and it's really cool. We played last weekend, and it was really fun. It's very humanocentric world, not a whole lot of demi-humans around. So I think everybody's playing a human, and it's very much like Game of Thrones. It's lots of intrigue and backstabbing and death dealing and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, it's different. I like it. So we'll see how far this goes with everybody. But that's pretty much what else is new.
Anything with the kids campaign, or is that on hold for now?
I just got to get everybody together on it. Maybe next weekend. Mm-hmm. I'll just see if I can get everybody together. So that's where that stands.
That's awesome. Well, I've been we had one session of our D6 MIB game online when I had Chris and his girlfriend, Shelly, playing in the game. And we did the first adventure. It went pretty well, but they disobeyed a direct order from the MIB director, so now they're in trouble.
Oh, well, that's going to happen.
Yeah. So we got Crispy coming in as the babysitter agent to keep control of the new agents in our next session, hopefully next week if we can get together.
So is the head agent, the director, is he the Rip Torn character?
No, actually we're following the storyline of the movies in the third movie that just recently came out. I don't know if you've seen it in anyone else.
Yes, I have.
All right,
it's really fun.
For those that haven't seen it out there, they had, since Rip Torn was in jail at the time, they decided to write his character out of the show and say he had passed away.
Now hosting an intergalactic kegger.
Zed. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen him in the movie, but, he went a little nuts there with the breaking and entering and waving a gun around, so he kind of went to jail.
Yeah.
So he was not available. So they wrote him out, and they put Agent O in charge, who was, I can't remember the actress's name. Oh, well, whatever. Anyway, but she was in charge, and she was very moody to the agents, so.
Yes. I really liked that movie. It was fun.
Yeah. It was a lot better than the second one, I'll definitely say that.
So what's your girl's name? Staryn? Staryn.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. She's
yeah.
Greek.
Yeah, that was too funny.
Staryn.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get to playing that next week. It's Emma Thompson. That was the name.
Emma Thompson, yeah.
I had to look it up because it was bothering me what the name was. And then they had Alice Eve play the young Emma Thompson character, Agent O.
Yes.
And I do have to say that Josh Brolin did an excellent job of imitating Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. Absolutely.
Definitely. Anyway, and I was supposed to, and I'm really mad about this, supposed to have my face-to-face game yesterday. Well, by the time you hear this, will be a week ago, but 2 players out of the 6 showed up. The other ones decided to do a no-show, no-call, if you want to go by work terms. Yeah, we were kind of off for 3 weeks of not playing, and I mean, it was up on the meetup and it messages you like a week before the game. So there was really no excuse for not emailing me, texting me, or even just, sending a letter in the mail to me.
I mean, that stinks.
Yeah, it kind of ticked. I think it ticked off the 2 players that showed up and they wanted to play, but they seemed like they were tired and they understood, so they just kind of went home. We hung around for a couple hours and chatted about superhero stuff and argued about who would win in a battle versus this person or that person.
Talk about the new Iron Man 3 film.
Yes, the new Iron Man that just had come out. We talked about that and how
I want to see that.
How Robert Downey Jr. is not doing the Iron Man 4 so far. So
there's going to be a 4th.
Well, there was they contracted for 4 movies, and Robert Downey Jr. is contracted only through the Avengers 2 movie. So he's not doing the 4th one unless they convince him to. So.
I know what'll do it. Money.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of money.
Well, I mean, they could always just put someone else in there. I mean, they could put Don Cheadle, move him up as the main Iron Man character to follow the comic books.
No, I don't know.
No?
No. I'm trying to think who would make a good Tony Stark.
I was thinking Ryan Reynolds would make a good one.
Ryan Reynolds?
He played Van Wilder.
Him?
Yeah, he was also Green Lantern too. But
oh well,
because he's kind of like that. He's that sarcastic type of guy that I could just see him if you just toned him down just a little bit with the sarcasm. He could probably fit the character.
Probably. You put the goatee on him, I think it might fit.
Yeah, just drop a little bit of the sarcasm because he's way sarcastic. So.
Well, Tony Stark was kind of too.
No, but like Tony Stark was funny, sarcastic. Ryan Reynolds, like he'll get on your nerves with his voice when he gets sarcastic.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and I was also reading this weekend about the leak for the Justice League movie that came out.
Oh boy, well, now what?
Well, the rumor is that they're going to be having not Bruce Wayne as Batman in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to have the other guy that took over in the comic books. So when Bruce Wayne, I'm doing little quotes in the air, died.
Oh,
and you remember
okay.
At the end of the 3rd movie how, what's his name, Tim was going into become the new Batman. Supposedly their rumor is that he will play it, or he will play Nightwing, so they're not sure which way yet.
Oh boy.
So
we always got I am actually looking forward to Man of Steel.
Yeah, me too.
I've seen those clips of that. Russell Crowe as Jor-El is going to be great.
I hope so.
I think so too. And what's his name's going to be Papa Kent? What the heck's what's his name? Mr. Dances with Wolves. Kevin Costner.
Oh, good, Kevin Costner. I like that.
So I think it'll be a real good movie to see. I mean, I've liked that is going to be great, and versus the debacle went the Superman Returns. Oh my gosh!
You noticed that with all the previews that they've shown, whether the movie theater or the sneak trailers, not one of them had the Superman music in it.
Yeah,
I'm wondering
it's all different music.
Yeah, I wonder if they're getting away from that whole cheesy, 80s music thing. That people loved it.
I like the original Superman.
Oh yeah, but I wonder if they're just trying to move away from that to try to separate the movies.
Maybe. I just hope that in the new film they just kind of a wink and nod to the old film, like Superman 2. They got to throw in the line, "Kneel before me, son of Jor-El." Kneel before Zod. No?
I'm sure they'll throw something in there. They always throw it in all the movies. Like when they did that cheesy line in Batman and Robin when he said, "Holy rusted metal, Batman."
Yeah. Well.
And everyone laughed for about 2 seconds, and then went, "Oh, that's lame."
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it was forced laughter. It was like, yeah.
So we got that. All right. Well, we don't have any stars this week, right?
Yeah, no new stars, but just to remind everybody, you can give us reviews on iTunes. Just head to the iTunes store, type in Roll for Initiative, follow the links to us, and you can not only give us a review, but all the episodes previously are on iTunes, free to download. So give us a review, and we will be happy to read it on the show.
And definitely spread the word around, because I know some people were having some issues with iTunes since we changed our feed, that it's not updating, and nothing we could do about that other than say unsubscribe and resubscribe.
Yeah, well, we're doing our best to try acquire Apple as part of us, but we just don't have the money.
Yeah,
so
we just don't. Or you can just always check our website, rfipodcast.com, and we have each show on there by volume on the right-hand side. This is Volume 1 issues, Volume 2 and current issues, which you can stream and download each show, as well as click directly for our RSS feed for the FeedBurner links. Has our there's a new to AD&D First Edition section where you can click and listen to the old shows. And so, speaking of things on the website, Todd Hughes had come up with an article. I'm not sure if we mentioned it last show, but it was Home Sweet Home rules for his +2 to save. Take a look at it. It talks about some house rules and what to do in certain situations. He has some great charts on here.
Yep. So, the +2, the save articles are coming back in again. So, and I guess I can make the announcement. There will be another Blackstone's Vault.
Yeah, but you've been threatening that for a while.
No, I have it. I know what I'm going to review.
You have good authority from Blackstone. There'll be another one, huh?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that within the next week there will be a review from him. So just trying to work those in, and I would say probably you're going to see about 1 or 2 a month. We'll throw in there, and now that he's got some material and he's down, he's done conquering the lands around his domain. So he's going to take some more time off and do some reviews for all you folks.
Definitely, and put on our Facebook. We had someone drop a link in for the. I forget the person's name, and I apologize. He's going to be doing the movie for the Jack Chick track from the '84 Dark Dungeons, the movie it's called.
Yes, Dark Dungeons, the movie, folks.
You can find that on Kickstarter. Just look it up. Google it. It'll come right up. And basically, the gentleman had, I guess, won some type of lottery. Nothing big, he says, about $1,000, but he's putting $1,000 towards making this movie. He got permission from Jack Chick himself to make this movie, so he's got his stretch goal. The first stretch goal was $12,000 to make the movie. He's up to about $15,000 as we speak right now. He has a couple more stretch goals, so please definitely go and support it. And you might have some say in it, too, as well, depending on how much you donate.
Yeah, I guess like when he gets up to 18,000, they'll throw in the Cthulhu Mythos and Necronomicon. So, pretty sure this is going to be kind of a dark humor, tongue-in-cheek kind of approach to the thing.
He said cheech.
Yeah, tongue-in-cheek. Hey, man.
Where's Chong? Oh, never mind.
Who? Where's Dave? Dave, man.
Yeah,
He's
man.
not here.
Similar but different.
Similar but different, absolutely.
All right, let's head over into some Sage Advice.
Okay.
Sage Advice.
So, Sage Advice this week, rfistaff@gmail.com. You can send us a voicemail, 570-865-4210.
4210.
The hotline.
That's right.
Where we have fighters level 3 standing by.
Oh, level 3 fighters. Hey, cool.
Yeah, we paid them extra gold this week.
Sweet.
Yes, and of course there's one phone line always reserved for all the orcs out there.
Yes, we have people who speak Orcish.
Yes, with pig faces.
Orcish with pig faces.
Definitely. We do have a voicemail this week, Nick. I will give you 2 guesses who it's from.
Let me guess. DM Kojo?
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, I win. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
You get another 5 experience points.
Only 5. Okay, I'll take them.
Okay. Keeping a streak alive, here comes DM Kojo.
Hello, Initiative Rollers. This is DM Kojo, keeping my streak alive. Calling in about energy drain. I have to confess I don't know the rules as written on energy drain, except that when certain undead touch them, they lose their level. I've heard people say that they can gain the experience points back at double the rate. I personally like to allow a save versus death to avoid the energy drain. I think that gives the PCs a nice, at least, chance of avoiding it. Especially if it's a first level character that somehow runs into some energy draining thing and they don't run away like they should. Gives them a chance to at least live. And, I just think it's a fair way of handling it. I know it's not by the book, but it seems reasonable to me that the negative energy, say versus death, and then they can avoid it. Just because players work hard to get the levels, and it's hard for me to take a level away that they've worked for, many, many sessions to achieve simply because they got touched by a certain undead that I decided to throw in the game. So, that's my take on energy drain. Love to hear if you guys house rule it in any way, and what you might do with it if you do some of the sides by the book. So, sorry it wasn't a 9-minute voicemail like you requested, but that's what I got for now. Keep up the good work. See you guys.
All right. So, Nick, what's your response to that?
My response is, well, it's as written. If you get hit like a white,
yeah,
they can drain energy levels.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the white, though, each hit drains a level. Now, there is no save for that.
No, there is no save for that.
So, I just go by as it's written. I mean, some people, I guess, like, I don't know. You can, I guess, throw a save versus death in there if you want. But I just go as it's written. I mean, you're not going to be throwing whites against like a first level party. That's just too crazy to do. You just gotta, some common sense there. Yeah, but
yeah, like he said, would double the amount of hit points back. That's kind of, I've never heard that. I heard that might be nerfing it because the DM feels bad, or.
Yeah, I've never heard of the thing like, well, you can earn your levels back by double the rate. I've never heard that before. That sounds like a house rule thing to me as well.
As far as house rules, I've seen DMs nerf it as far as doing temporary statistic or stat drains instead of level drains.
Yeah.
But if basically the thing, it comes down to this: if you don't feel right using it, don't use the monster just because it's there.
Right.
Just don't use it. Just don't use it. If you're not
like
comfortable,
I said, you don't throw monsters like a white or something else like that could drain levels against like a first or second level party. I mean, that's overkill. And
even if the party's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th level, and you don't want to drain their energy, don't use the monster just because it's there. And don't be like, well, I like using every monster. Well, don't use it, dude.
Yeah, don't use it. Or like we were just saying, just do your energy drain different in your campaign. Just as long as you're consistent about it, that's fine.
Yeah, or if you want to do the energy drain, the level drain, say it happens for that battle and they have to rest 24 hours to gain each level back.
Yeah, that would be fair to do. That sounds right to me.
Every day they rest, they gain a level back. You could say it that way. But I removed the special defenses off the white if you're going to do that.
I think you also said to me once that some people they'll use Constitution, they'll get hit, they'll lose a point of con, or something like that. So you could do that too. That could simulate life levels or energy levels. I mean,
Hold on.
I don't know.
Yeah, so Kojo, sorry if you feel that bad about being a DM and taking levels, then don't use it, or just use something else.
Yeah, I mean, like we've always said in the show, if you're going to do a different rule, do some house ruling. At least be consistent about it. Do the same thing the next time it happens.
Exactly.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Or in this case, energy drain, repeat.
Definitely.
Next time.
So we have 4 emails also on top of the voicemail.
4. Awesome.
Yeah, first one comes from DM Steve. Steve-O at the copy machine. Anyway.
Steve-arino.
Yeah, no, not that Steve. Hi guys, I was wondering if there were any subdual rules for dragons like there is in basic D&D. If so, what are they?
Wow,
Thanks, DM
what
Steve.
a great question.
Well, there are rules like that, and Nick and I were discussing before the show. It is in the Monster Manual right there for you to read.
Yes.
And
it's
go ahead.
Monster Manual pages 30 and 31.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a section on subduing the dragon. They give an example how subdual happens. Just an example, and maybe in some combat, the value of the subdual dragon, the length of subdued. So there's some really good stuff in there. I mean, you can also, like he said, there's rules for subduing in basic and expert.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably the same kind of rules, so you can port those right on over.
Well, yeah, you're just hitting the thing to submitting it, making it into submission. Like you keep whacking it. You're not really trying to kill it. You're whacking it to the point that it submits to your will. And then, of course, in any chance it possibly can, is going to try to get away. So,
right. I mean, you could bring over the subdual rules from basic and expert. I mean, I don't see a problem with that. But I don't know if it's in the basic or expert rules, but it does say silver, gold, chromatic, and platinum dragons cannot be subdued.
Oh, really?
So you cannot subdual silver, gold. You cannot subdual Tiamat or Bahamut.
Oh.
Big surprise there.
I know they had rules for it in module B5, Horror on the Hill?
Yes.
They have that little weird dragon that they have with like 20 hit points, even though it's not supposed to have 20 hit points. Mm-hmm. But the players don't know that, of course. And you're supposed to subdue that dragon and bring him over somebody for the quest. I remember reviewing that a long time ago. So
basically how it goes on the subdual...
Oh, yes, go ahead.
You say, upon announcement of attempt to strike, to subdual, all hit points of damage scored by attacks are considered non-fatal.
Right.
The total number of hit points scored each melee round is stated as a ratio. Hit points scored are ratioed over a number of hit points the dragon has. And that ratio is converted into a percentage.
Right.
So if you did like 20 hit points of damage and the dragon has 100 hit points, and that ratio converts over to a percentage. If you roll that percentage, it's equal to or lower than that percentage, then the dragon is subdued.
Yes. Basically, in game terms, if you want to think about reality, you're using the flat of the blades.
Yeah, flat of the blade or...
pulling punches and things like that.
Yeah, you're pulling your punches. Because the idea is, you want to basically capture the dragon and not only get its hoard, but also get the dragon for its value.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Anyway, thank you.
It's a matter of ratios.
Anyway, thank you, DM Steve. Email number 2.
Part 2.
Yeah. I've been listening to your show. Where are you guys getting the critical hit misses rules that you seem to be using? Before what?
I said, oh.
Back before later editions, when AD&D was the undisputed king of the RPGs, we used to ridicule games like Rollmaster, in large part because of the included rules for critical successes and failures. So I'm surprised to hear that each of the DMs on the show refer to such in their games. And, so far as I've heard, no one on the show has batted an eyelash at this. From that, I have to assume that these critical hits tables you're using coming from a Dragon Magazine article that I don't know of. Would you let me know which issue has these rules or where you're getting them from? DM Harold.
Gosh, DM Harold. I do remember reading in the outstanding book, Playing at the World, that was recommended by, I think, who was it that recommended it to us?
Tim Kask.
Tim Kask, yes. Mm-hmm. When Tim recommended that to us, really near the very beginnings of the game, there was everybody trying to do their own thing as far as modifying the game, and critical hits and fumbles were right near the very beginning. Yeah. So I can recall from my youth, when way back in the day, that there were local gaming groups. In fact, I think it was my very first convention I went to. There was a local gaming group. They set up a booth. Just they were passing out flyers, and they had some other things. And this is the days before anybody had the internet or halfway decent computers, unless you had a TRS-80 or a Commodore 64, maybe.
Yeah. People
were making up their own rules on certain things, like crits and fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
And I do recall they made it was a little pamphlet. I think they sold it for like $1, something like that. It was just 8.5 by 11, that real cheapo looking, computer looking font from back in the day from the old type of printers.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still like a whole bunch of different types of critical hit and fumble tables, and I think some other stuff in there too. I remember buying it, and this was like back in 1982, 83. So, and I didn't say it as a part of any ridicule. I think it just depends on where you were and how people, just how people played the game and where you were regionally in the United States, I guess. I don't know. I mean, what about you, Vince?
I learned the critical hits and misses from the great Joe DM.
The great Joe DM?
Yeah, as I stated in the past, his critical hit stuff and critical miss stuff, I don't know where he got them from, I don't know. But I've seen other DMs do other various critical hits and not. When I played at a bunch of conventions, I've played with people that played with Gary on his porch.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was something that Gary had done all along as his own house rule, and it just kind of spread out as other people discovered it or just made up their own rules. And, oh, Gary does that? I do that too. Cool. What does Gary do? Oh, he does the same thing as me. One of those things. What did it become official in second edition was, maybe?
I think it came on later on in second edition, the player's options or whatever book that was. I didn't get that one.
Yeah.
But there was an add-on that you could do critical hits and fumbles.
I know the Hackmaster, when they did their book, they had definitely added the critical hits and fumbles in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it pretty much was kind of a knockoff of Rollmaster, the critical hits and fumbles. Very detailed.
Yeah, that big chart. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had someone I know made a custom Excel spreadsheet with macros running, so all you had to do was plug in your percentile number and some other number, and boom, there's your critical hit. So as far as like finding any critical hit tables, there was an issue of Dragon. I don't remember off the top of my head. It was really early on though in Dragon Magazine that I was in there. There was a critical hits and fumble kind of article. But you could do a search on the web. Just type in AD&D critical hits and fumbles, and I'm sure something will pop up. And see what you like. If it's to your liking and want to introduce that to your game, by all means do so. But I think one of the unwritten rules you gotta have with critical hits and fumbles is it goes both ways. Monsters do them too. So you got to be. I think that's even playing ground. It's not just the player characters that get the critical hits and fumbles. Monsters get them too.
Yeah, of course. If you do it, monsters do it. Both.
Yeah, I think a lot of players forget this. Like, oh wow, man, I could do 2 times damage, and this could happen. Yeah, I know, but you know what? If you get smacked in the face by an ogre and he gets a natural 20, yeah, he could do the same thing to you, kiddo. So just don't, hey, all's fair in love and war, buddy.
But it did become an official adaptation to the game in 3rd edition, but then they had that stupid confirm stuff, which I couldn't stand. Roll 20 and you have to confirm a hit to make sure it was a critical hit.
Oh, yeah, I've heard people doing that too. I'm like, that's kind of redundant. It's a natural 20.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you got a natural 20. It's like, yes, double damage. No, you have to confirm that was a confirm.
What?
Yeah, it was one of the dumb things I really couldn't stand.
Yeah, that I don't get.
I house ruled that out when I played 3rd. But, okay, there you go. Anyway, thank you, DM Harold. Email number 3. Hi guys, I am new to the game and I have a question. It seems that the numbers for a thief in the player's book are a bit low. Have you guys come up with a better system for rolling the things that a thief does? Roger T.
No, I haven't. I just use what's there. Vince?
No, I haven't. Basically just used what's there, but like we've always said in the past, it's only a guideline. Just because it says that the thief has 35% doesn't mean he always has 35%.
True, and don't forget there's other modifiers for race, for dexterity. So, got to factor those things in there too.
But if say after the race and dexterity and that's all modified in, the guy has whatever 35 or 40, whatever. There's always the environmental factors of some of the things as well. So if they're a crowded place, maybe the DM can give an extra 20% because there's a lot of people and it's easy to pick pockets in there. So it all depends. It's only a guideline. Those numbers are a guideline for the DM. They're not the end-all, infinite,
right.
Too bad, that's the number. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You feel me, player?
I'm feeling you, man. I feel your pain.
Oh, yeah, and Nick just found, you found a critical hit and fumble table at Dragon's Foot, huh?
Yes, I did, and awesome. Boom, there it is. That's the one I use.
Is that all right? So, we'll have to give it to Matt, and he'll put that in the show notes. But there is one available at dragonsfoot.org.
Yep, you can find it through their links through first edition AD&D resources. Mm-hmm. And I think it's under articles. But we'll put that in our show notes, and you can take a look at that, see that's to your liking. I use that one. It's pretty simple. It's actually a good. I think if I got this right, that this one. It actually has, based upon.
Right.
There it is. It's based off the original Good Hits and Bad Misses article in Dragon number 39.
There we go. Dragon number 39.
Yeah, so you can use that one or this one here that was at Dragon's Foot. So awesome. Take a look.
Groovy. I'm sure if you do a quick search on the web, as like Nick said, on Google or Bing it on, you'll find.
Yeah, there you go.
You'll find a chart to your liking. They're mostly edition neutral anyway. I mean, how could you make a critical hit chart, an edition based? So I don't think you really can. But anyway, I could be wrong. Thank you, Roger T. Email number 4. I love the show, and I was wondering if I used a limited wish or a wish spell to make myself into a storm giant. Would my ability scores increase with my size, along with my damage and hit points? Would those increase as well? Alex. Well, after reading...
Damn it. Yeah, after looking at this...
if you used a limited wish spell, you're only going to get the ability increases for a limited time, since it's only a limited wish.
Right.
It's only the duration of the spell. Now, if it's a regular wish, which is permanent, as long as you word it correctly, your ability scores, if you wish to be a storm giant, you would be a storm giant. What's listed there, that would be your abilities. As far as height, weight, damage, hit points, that's what you are, a Storm Giant. Now, I know, Nick, you brought up also on the side, but if you're using a large spell, that's something a little bit different.
Yeah, enlarge spell would be different because enlarge doesn't make you into that type of giant. You only become the size of that creature. Say, using a large spell, you get to be, I don't know, say you get to be about 9 feet tall. Right. So you're about the size of an ogre. You would get the strength and hit bonus. You get the to hit and damage bonus probably as an ogre. Now, if you get a little bit bigger, you would probably base that upon the ranges of different giants that are out there. There might be there's some overlap because we did look in like the Cloud and the not Cloud, but the Fire Giant and Stone Giant are both the same size, 12 feet tall. So it's like, which one do you have for to hit damage, to hit and damage from? You know, do you use the Stone Giant stats or do you use the Fire Giant stats? Don't know. I think that'd be up to the DM to decide.
Yeah, I would just basically decide which one you want to use between those. But you wouldn't get the hit points, and you'd only get the size bonus along with the damage bonus because you'd be that size. But you wouldn't gain any other abilities being that tall than that. Well, you might get some minuses on your dexterity because you're kind of really slow at this point. But
right, and also keep in mind that the larger you get, you're going to be hit as a large-sized creature now.
Exactly.
So, I mean, enlarge is a darn good spell because I know in my campaign when they went through against the Giants, what they do, they beefed up a lot of enlarge spells so they could be pretty much the same size as the Giants.
Oh, cool.
So they could sneak in a little bit, sneak around a little bit. But yeah, it's a good way of getting into that adventure without causing too much alarm if they're doing well. But yeah, the wish thing, excuse me, you have to go with Vince there.
Yeah. All right, so that's the emails for today, and you can always email us at rfistaff@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/RFI Podcast, Twitter feed RFI Podcast, or 570-865-4210.
And our forums at osrgaming.org, where I'm getting to be better about being on there. Yeah, so
yeah, you're up
to
like
did post
12 posts, right? Oh.
Well, a recent post I just did this past week. Now that I bring it up, there was a really good write-up on the new D&D downloads.
Yeah,
thing that's been going on if not everybody is aware of it, I'm sure they are out there right now, is all the old classic D&D adventures, and a lot of the rule books and everything are available for PDF. And one of the cool things about the PDFs is they have really cool write-ups about especially the adventures. How did this adventure get made? What's it about? Some of the backstory on the adventure. And there was a real good one on the Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun. Mm-hmm. And I posted a link to that, to D&D Classics, about how the Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun module is supposed to have been linked up to some other adventures. It was supposed to have been linked up to actually Temple of Elemental Evil, too.
Ooh, cool.
So I thought there's supposed to have been a link between all those originally, between that, Lost Caverns of Zoicanth, and Temple of Elemental Evil. So, yeah, take a look at osrgaming.org. We're on there.
Definitely. And we'll head into some table manners.
Typical. Of all the evil creatures in the world, I'd like to find one with table manners.
What, are you kidding me? I spent years cultivating the worst table manners on the planet.
Table manners.
So table manners this week, we're going to talk a little bit today about... we're going to pull out and dust off Dungeon Magazine number 10. And we're going to review...
Hold on a second. Let me get out. There we go. Get the dust off that thing.
Yeah, it's kind of dusty. Been a while. We're going to review something that a lot of people talk about. Monsters. Now, you would think, well, why don't you just use your creature feature theater? No. We're going to talk about running adventures with monsters for the PCs.
You being the monster.
Yeah. So what we got here is in Dungeon Magazine number 10, there was actually a submitted adventure by, what was his name? Vince. Oh, no, not me.
Vince Garcia.
Vince Garcia. And it's called Monster Quest, which is kind of awesome if you look at it, because you get to play these different type of monsters, and you have to like be sneaky about it. It's not this straightforward, but you can be straightforward. But it's a really interesting quest playing different monsters. It was an ogre, I believe,
a goblin,
the weak little goblin picking his nose picture there.
There's a were-rat.
Yeah.
An orc witch doctor.
Yes.
And a pixie fairy that's kind of like hiding, but hanging out with the group.
Yeah, so they said she's kind of like following the group around.
Yeah. She's following around, like, I guess either hiding or invisibly following them around.
Yeah, so you have Bert the Ogre, and they have stats for him as there.
Bert,
yeah. They have the Orc Witch Doctor, and then the Were-Rat, and then Glitch the Goblin.
Glitch the Goblin. Poor Glitch.
Poor Glitch, yeah. I like the picture of him, like, picking his nose.
Yeah. And yeah, by the way, the Glitch the Goblin who's picking his nose, he's the cook of the orc tribe.
Ew. But he looks like a monkey, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's weird. They all look like monkeys.
They all look very simian.
Yeah,
except for
weird.
the were-rat, of course.
Well, yeah.
Who looks like a were-rat.
The witch doctor looks like he stuck his finger in a socket or something.
Yeah. He looks really bad.
But those are your choices, and it does say if you have more than that for players, that the rest of them just become regular orcs.
Yeah.
And to refer to the monster manual for that. But these are an interesting combination because the hit dice are, we're looking at here. Okay, so the Goblin is a 1-1. We have that. He's the weakest one of the group, so I don't know if anyone really wants to play him. We have a hit dice for the Were-Rat of 3+1. Hit dice for the Orc Witch Doctor of a 2.
And the Ogre is a 4+1 hit dice.
So it's a little bit mismatched as far as what the levels are. But I think it kind of works out the way it is. They're not weak. So, unless you play the Goblin, of course, and he's pretty much a wimp, and the adventure pretty much wants you to kill that character anyway if you read it.
Right.
In fact, I think at one point concluding the adventure, it says that if he comes back, the head of the orc tribe punishes you for bringing him back.
I know. I mean, that's so mean. I'm like, but he did a great job. No, I wanted him dead.
And if he does die, he rewards you by leaving you alone for a week.
For a week.
Yeah, and he doesn't torture you for a week.
He won't torture or pester you for 1 week.
So basically, this adventure starts off with he tasks you to find this, what the heck was it, a horn.
Yeah, the orc the orc tribe leader, he lost his magical drinking horn. He went into basically an old abandoned, I guess, witch temple that was originally dedicated to the goddess Bridget. And when he went into this temple, he saw something that, well, he didn't say, scared him so much he dropped his drinking horn. He's been using every excuse since then not to go back.
Yeah.
So
he gathers up this little band of wishy-washy group people there, hands you the map to where the temple's located, and says, don't come back until you bring it back. So then you leave out on your adventure, and you have this long, convoluted, really dopey thing you have to read to the player characters.
Mm-hmm.
That says, oh, oops, you see this group of humans coming your way, so you decide to hide in the bushes because you're scared, and then you realize, oops, you dropped the map. Because the goblin hit into you and knocked it out of your pouch. I was like, what? But I guess it has to do with the story. So they pick it up and they realize that it's a map written in Orcish and it's the land, so they like, oh, we have to bring it back to our fort and save it for Roger the Moor Ranger.
Yes, I love that, Roger the Moor.
Yeah, what a kiss to the butt on that one was. So when he comes back in a week and he can decipher it. So I mean, out of
So you got to go to this Fort Bravery.
But out of 50 people at that fort, only Roger the Moor knows how to read this map.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nobody else.
Yeah. So, nobody else. So you have to basically go, you could follow them back to their fort, and then you could figure a way to get into the fort without being spotted.
Through the sewers.
Through the sewers, which is kind of interesting.
I did find one sewer thing that kind of threw me for a loop.
Which one was that?
Tunnel D with the giant centipedes.
Mm.
There's there's 5 different tunnels that you can go down. Okay?
Yep.
And one of them's going to actually lead down to where you need to secretly get into the fort, hopefully. Now, Tunnel D, there's these giant centipedes. Now, maybe I read it wrong, but I read it like 3 times. I'm like, okay, that's what it says.
Okay.
Giant centipedes, if you get hit by them, you don't get any bite damage, but you have to save versus their venom.
Yes.
Right? Now, it does say healing spells are ineffectual against the damage caused by the centipede's venom.
Right.
Next sentence. Only a neutralized poison spell can remove the damage of a PC.
Oh.
Right. Wait a bit. Healing spells but isn't neutralized poison kind of like a healing spell?
Yeah.
That kind of threw me for a loop there. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, healing spell. Maybe they just mean like cure light wounds or something like that won't fix it, but you have to have a neutralized poison.
Maybe they should have worded it as only a neutralized poison can stop the deterioration of the damage of the poison.
Right.
That maybe would have fitted better, or maybe the neutralized poison will stop the poison from causing more damage.
Come on, editors, TSR, what were you thinking?
I don't know. Roger the Moor was busy that day.
Roger the Moor was busy, yes.
And they also have one of the tunnels where you're supposed to flesh it out on your own, apparently.
Yes.
Which is C, I believe. I'm looking here in the book here.
Yeah, C is like, do whatever you want there.
Yeah. This is purposely left for the DM to flesh out if he desires. Otherwise, the PCs will realize they're going the wrong way. Okay. You keep traveling and traveling and you just go nowhere. Guess that's the wrong way,
on
guys.
the road to nowhere. Come on.
But Tunnel A is the right path.
Yes. Tunnel A.
And has a nice carrion crawler in there. Yay.
Oh, God, yes.
Which
but the carrion crawler is very happy.
Yeah. Because he gets fed.
He gets fed.
Because there is some
eat poo.
I kind of get it, but I don't get it. So there is this ladder there that leads up to a barrel. That's a fake barrel, which is kind of a hatch in the barrel. Mm-hmm. And I guess the leader of the fort goes there and drops food down there, and the carrion crawler eats his food, and he figures, oh, that carrion crawler will be enough if anybody tries to break in.
Right.
Yeah, he figures that's good enough. No one will figure this out. Come on.
No, Roger the Moor wasn't that very bright, was he?
No, Roger the Moor is away right now in his retreat up in the forest. So.
Yes.
Remember, he comes like once a week to check in or whatever he does.
Oh, yes.
So once you defeat the carrion crawler, you're supposed to make your way up this ladder and force your way into the fort.
Or at least try to sneak your way around.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of get. You got to find, I guess, the ranger's... you got to find his quarters.
The commander's quarters.
Yes.
Which is where he keeps the map.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of things like barracks, and then there's a kitchen, and there's a smokehouse, and let's see here, the commander's quarters, the barracks. The commander's quarters, when you get in there, I love the desk if you open it up without looking around first. It has like a big magic mouth that comes out and says, "Intruder alert! Yes. Intruder alert!"
I love that. Intruder alert! Intruder alert!
Yeah, I'm just imagining like a robot. Danger, Will Robinson! Danger!
Danger! Danger!
But you have to do this all without drawing any attention to yourself.
Right. Not the simple fact you got like a 9.5-foot ogre in your group. No problem.
But if you time it right and you do it at night, you should be able to do it because most of the soldiers are in the gambling room?
Yeah, there's like a recreation room.
Yes.
Where a lot of them hang out at night.
That's where most of them stay. So that's where you want to go. And the building where the scroll was kept is a 2-story building. So you could manage to do it before he gets back. And if you do it right, without rummaging and destroying stuff, you might be able to get away with it for a few days without them noticing. Apparently, this thing is written.
So, in a way, like this first part with the fort, you would think most players would think when they get these creatures the play, they're like, oh yeah, man, now we could be the monsters, like do some payback. Not so fast.
Oh no, because you don't want to fight these people in the fort. There's 50 people in this fort.
Right, you got to be stealthy about it. I mean, you might get in a little scuffle here and there if you're lucky to kind of like, maybe somewhere in the shadows or behind closed doors, but there's plenty of hack and slash in here later on.
Yeah, so after you, let's say you successfully managed to cover your tracks, lead, and go back the way you came, cover it up, make it look like nothing ever happened, the thing tells you that you have a couple days head start to running away. And if you decide, screw the map, you could wander aimlessly around the forest trying to find the temple.
You could do that, yes.
Which is not recommended.
Not recommended, but can be done.
Yeah.
There's several things along the trails. There's the chance encounter meeting Roger the Moor, who is a 7th level ranger. I hope you don't run into him. Well, hopefully the ogre gets the first swing.
Hopefully.
Now, there are some encounters along the trail, at least one I know in particular. When you go down, there's Trail B, where you encounter some wolves. Now, since the goblin's in the party, apparently the goblin, there's a wolf cub in the cave. The wolf cub will respond well to the goblin, and you could probably take the cub as a pet.
Yeah, if the goblin is picking his nose or whatever.
Right, or being hostile and throwing rocks and sticks at it, but who knows?
So, yeah, you take that path, you run into that, so you got to go back on the trail, and then if you find Trail C, which I find interesting, just kind of winds around to the temple. That's it, just winds around. Mm-hmm. Or you can go fight the giant bumblebee.
A giant bumblebee. I thought that was cute.
Which is 6 hit dice bumblebee.
That's pretty big.
That's like a blam. I'm a big bumblebee.
I know, it's like the size of a small child.
That's huge.
6 hit dice. Actually, that's bigger than the ogre, technically.
Yeah, technically has
the size of a Cadillac.
30 hit points, AC 5.
Okay, yeah, that's a Cadillac-sized bumblebee.
And you have to worry about being stung for poison. Oh.
Yeah, 1d6 plus poison sting. I guess save or die.
No, I think it's a poison.
Yeah, but the poison save is, I guess, is it save or die?
It doesn't say. It just says plus poison, so I'm assuming that it's 1 to 6 push poison damage each round.
Okay.
I don't know what the poison damage is.
You could probably pull something out of the DMG.
Because I don't see... Looking at the monster manual here in front of me.
I don't know if Bumblebee was in there. I think it's in Monster Manual 2.
Is it? Oh, okay. I do see beetles, but I don't see a bee or anything. You just pop open Monster Manual 2 while I'm right here.
I'm pretty sure it's in Monster Manual 2. I recall seeing that in there.
I'm looking through the list right now. I don't see... No. Bumblebee.
And... nothing.
No. I don't know where Bumblebee comes from. Huh. Maybe it was just for this.
Maybe it was.
I see giant... Oh, there we go. Giant bee. Bumblebee. Rare. There it is. Hit dice is a 6 plus 4. Treasure. Okay. 1d6 plus poison.
What's the poison damage?
Save. Okay. For a queen bumblebee's poison is -2 for save. Successful save versus poison will inflict an additional 2d8 points of damage. Fairy will cause an additional 5 to 20 plus 1. What?
Wow.
No, wait, that's going to be wrong. We just make that a little bit bigger.
If you fail the save, you take 5 to 20 points of damage from this poison? Ouch.
Poison is normal for worker bees, soldiers, 1 to 8 points of damage per sting.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So damage is 1 to 6 for the stinger, and the poison's 1 to 8?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
That's still pretty nasty.
It is.
Picture the poor little goblin getting stung by that bee. Splat.
Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Okay, so it's a Monster Manual 2. There we go. Whoop-de-doo. Anyway, so we're going to the temple now. Oh, one more trail. There's Trail E, which is the cave bear.
There's a bear. Hey, boo-boo.
Yeah, there's no boo-boo. Just Yogi.
Yogi.
Yeah. And then you have Trail F, which is part of Trail D, and then you go straight to the temple.
Wait a minute. On Trail E, did you see what was in the inside the bear's cave? The treasure? The remains of the hobgoblin?
Yeah.
There's a potion of orc control.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that poor little goblin getting a hold of that and controlling the orc leader of the tribe?
Heck yeah.
That would be funny. You must floss my toes. Yes, master.
Tell everybody they love me. Sure.
Love him.
So we love him, yeah. So we have 6 sections to the temple's main area, level 1, before going on to level 2. We have the stairway, which pretty much nothing happens there. The platform, the west platform, on number 2, and then there's number 3, east platform. There's nothing really there as well.
When you get to 5.
Yeah, when you get to 5 is when they got the elevated throne, which you can find. There's nothing in there, actually. It's actually empty. It did hold a scepter at one point, but it's empty. Why they bother telling you that, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's like, why is that in there? That's useless.
I was just rereading it now, and I was like, oh, a scepter. I'm like, wait, it says is empty. Well, why tell me? I guess if you wanted to add it in later on. And then we get to the high altar.
Yes.
Where the Sturges are waiting for you in the hiding.
Yeah, great. Sturges. Love blood drain. Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah. But they have no treasure, so too bad. And and then you get to the columns towards the back end, where we have how do you pronounce that?
Jakuli?
I thought so, Jakuli. I've never used that monster actually.
Out of the Fiend Folio.
Yeah.
There's an actual Fiend Folio monster in this adventure, everybody.
Yay.
So there's I also, a little side note, there is another adventure in this magazine. They use 2 Fiend Folio monsters.
Ooh.
And one of them was a protein polymorph.
Cool.
I have never seen that first adventure ever saying, like, there's a protein polymorph. What? Anyway, sorry, I had to throw that in there. It's just anytime you see an adventure where there's a Fiend Folio monster in there, it's like so glaring. Wow.
So the stairways actually are at the beginning of the temple. You just kind of, when you get there, you don't really notice it unless you really look around because you're just like enthralled with the temple. But they are there leading down, which is dug into the side of the hill. So
where these stairs go, they go down.
Down, and then you go downstairs. Yay!
Downstairs.
Then there's a kitchen there.
Yeah. I notice every time when there's like food around, they have to mention the ogre can smell it.
Yes. And there's a bunch of rooms down here, but the most important room to point out is number 9.
Hold on a second.
What?
Back up. Where the Jakuli are?
Yeah.
Another magic item.
Oh, yeah, the arrow of orc slaying.
Yeah, there's an arrow of ogre slaying. I just find it hilarious that there's all these magic items in there that could be used against party members and such.
Yeah, you can betray everybody. So the little goblin gets a hold of all these things, he can like rule the whole entire adventure. So yeah, but actually it says with the Jakuli before, it says if the Glitch the Goblin goes up, they ignore him.
Yeah, because he's too small.
They don't care about him. They're like, meh.
So apparently Glitch the Goblin is the linchpin of the whole campaign here.
Yeah. You look at it and go, oh, he's weak, he's stupid. But meanwhile, this little dude is going to be the one walking out with everything if you play it right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we go down the stairs. Yay.
Okay, yay again, downstairs, sorry.
You know, I was kind of confused. When you go down the stairs, where exactly does it lead to?
Yeah, I was looking at the map too. I'm like, what?
It goes downstairs. Okay, the steps go down, and now we have a completely new map.
Yes.
Now, is it the steps right near 15 and 16, or is that?
I think so.
All right, because I was confused. I was looking at it. I'm like, where do they start?
Yeah, it was those. There's those really big wide steps. Then there's the ones on the first level where starting at 1. I'm assuming it's. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, because they're not in the same spot as these steps are.
Right. It's a little.
I'm going to assume the way the temple's built that it's going to be those steps.
Yeah, I think so too.
So you kind of walk down the steps and you lead. You can either come out on the side of 15 left or I should say west or east.
Yeah, west or east of 15 there. Kind of in these long hallways with some big old 10-foot wide square columns.
Yep, and then you have a bunch of things. But the most important room down here.
Yes.
Is room 9 with the biting skulls.
The conjuration room. Those skulls are cool.
Jumping and biting skulls. They're only a 1-hit dice creature, but they're awesome.
Yeah.
Because they hop around and they can't be turned, but they can bite the crap out of you. For one.
And their jaws reveal silver dental work so they can hit like were creatures and such.
Yep. So the DM was really thorough with this.
I want those. I love those biting skulls. Those are great.
But dun dun dun, in this room is the horn.
Yes, it is laying there where the X is on the map.
This is probably what scared the crap out of him to drop it in the first place.
It scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Bunch of biting skulls jumping at me. Yeah, I would run like a little girl and scream.
And the rest of these rooms, there's pretty much the living quarters, and there's nothing really big in there. There's the jelly.
There's an ochre jelly.
Large spider.
Large spider, yes.
There's really nothing else in these rooms.
Oh, wait. Second Fiend Folio monster. Sheet Phantom.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's 2 Fiend Folio monsters in the same adventure yet again.
That's right. The canopy is really a Sheet Phantom in room 12, which is the High Priestess.
Yeah, the High Priestess's chambers.
And she has a bath chamber. Ooh. So she can get naked and take a bath.
Yeah, but she's not around anymore, so who cares?
Yeah, she's dead.
Yeah.
There.
She's dead.
She's dead, Jim. And then we have, let's see, the Handmaiden's quarters where the doors are wizard locked. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, fine.
Yay. And then you have the throne room.
Right.
Which has the giant fire bat.
4.
Yeah, sorry, I said the S afterwards. That's.
You can make one big one.
No, that'd be a deadly bat, though.
Yeah, it'd be like 8 hit dice. Ouch.
I love the Associate Priestess's Chamber.
Yeah.
Associate
Priestess?
I've never heard of the title Associate Priestess.
Yes. I'm the head priestess. This is my associate. Hello?
It's like in the film industry. This is my assistant director. But it's TV, so we're going to call it associate director.
Yes, assistant producer.
I never
This is the guy that showed up a lot, just did poked his finger at people.
Then we have another Handmaid's Quarters. Yay. But this ones aren't locked, so.
And there's lots of cool stuff inside.
I'm sorry, the Handmaid's Quarters are fire trapped.
Yeah. Send the goblin in.
At 12th level spell wise, too. So not only is it fire trapped, it's a 12th level spell fire trap. Ow.
Yeah.
Can you say ow?
Ow.
And then we got the final Handmaid's Quarters where all the cool stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use this adventure to use for the living, the RPA Raven's Bluff.
Yes, the RPGA living campaign that they had at the time.
I've never used Raven's Bluff, have you?
Nope.
Yeah.
Never heard of it until then.
I've heard of it before, I just never used it before. And I was part of the cool crowd, you know.
I just like at the conclusion when he said when Glitch returns alive, you know, he the orc chieftain is not happy about it. But that's the thing about those 2 magic items, the Arrow of Ogre Slaying, and then there's the Potion of Orc Control.
Yeah.
There's the potential of Glitch, the Goblin, making out big time on this adventure if he's stealthy enough.
And also Glitch gets the winning end here. If he's mad, if Glitch the Goblin returns alive, the rest of the group ends up in the kitchen as help under the command, fitting punishment. So they become Glitch's slaves in the kitchen.
Yeah.
As a punishment. If Glitch has gone on to Goblin Heaven, the Orc Chieftain thinks up a new mission for the survivors. There just happens to be a high-level ranger who's been giving him some problems, is a suggestion.
Oh, Roger the Moor?
Roger the Moor. So, what do you think of this adventure?
You know, I thought it was really fun. I think it's a really fun adventure to have. Just something different. This would be a good one-shot, you know, just kind of a goof-off adventure. If you really don't have anything planned and everybody else just wants to try something different, this is a good way to go.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if it's like being, I did read this, but I wasn't fully prepared for it. If I knew, I probably would have given it to the group of 2 players just to do it for the heck of it.
I mean, this would be fun to run at I think this would be fun to run at a con.
Yeah, it's a good con.
I mean, a great con one-off game, you know?
But, yeah, hopefully. It says you can use regular PC characters for this, so I'm trying to figure out how you would do that.
Well, you just rewrite it and just, instead of an Orc Chieftain, maybe a Dwarf Chieftain. Or Gnome Chieftain, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. But, well, if you...
And you wouldn't use the pre-gens.
Yeah, you wouldn't use the pre-gens and use a regular party. So when they drop the map and the humans find it...
Well, maybe you don't have them drop the map. Maybe the map got stolen.
You can say they stole it from them, maybe?
Yeah, and this is like a fort of brigands.
Yeah. Alright. Guess that works.
Yeah, that's one way, just off the top of my head.
Because I was thinking about that before the show. I'm like, well, how could you use this for PC?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if you make them all PCs, the chances that one person might be a human. If they're not, then it'd be kind of cool to do it, because then you could say the humans found this map, and they're all too stupid, and they can't speak Dwarven, or they can't speak Elven.
Mm-hmm.
And now it kind of work. And then they say they took the map back, so Roger the Moor can read it. Because Roger the Moor's a ranger, and he's probably Elven, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you might want to change some things, some of the random encounters around, like the Roger the Moor, maybe not have him as a random encounter. I don't know. But as far as, like, the fort, maybe, yeah, the map got stolen by these brigands, and you could still have the Dwarf Chieftain, maybe he was in there, he dropped his magical drinking horn.
True.
So, I mean, dwarfs get scared too. So, I don't know. I still think, as the adventure stands, that's where it is really fun, because you're using monsters, or considered monsters, as player characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, as written, that's what you want to use it as. But if you don't want to, I guess you can modify it. Why not?
So there you go. Pick up Dungeon Magazine 10. There's some great adventures in there, but this one in particular is something interesting, because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to play a monster. So here you go.
Yeah. I also like, in this particular issue of Dungeon, is the one about the towers.
Oh, yeah, that looked good too, yeah.
That Secrets of the Towers adventure. Mm-hmm. Really cool, folks. I'm telling you, it's a great way to introduce some mystery into your game.
Like Scooby-Doo mystery?
More like, not Scooby-Doo mystery. Hey, Scoob!
Hey!
Gang, we got a mystery to solve.
Let's split up.
But it's like one of the Secret of the Towers, great adventure. I'm going to introduce that in my campaign. It's really cool.
Cool.
So, Dungeon number 10.
There you go, folks. And we'll head into some DM rules next.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want, but I have a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
So DM rules this week. After hearing Liam Neeson tell me he's going to find me and try to kill me.
I'm going to find you. I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to kill you.
And I will kill you. I love that bumper. Anyway.
There's not enough time. Let's go.
Yes. So we're going to talk a little bit about allowing PCs to make monsters as their characters.
Yes.
I've done this in a couple campaigns, and it doesn't really last longer than a couple adventures because then you kind of get bored after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because rolling up monsters is a little bit different than rolling up regular PCs because they're not as intelligent mostly and very limited on what you can become.
Yeah, like who wants to play like a black pudding?
I don't think anybody's
really
going to play a black pudding, Nick. Maybe a brain mole, but not a black pudding.
Brain mole.
But
I have always aspired to play a brain mole psionicist.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
I've done campaigns where I gave the PCs a choice of a goblin or an ogre. Not an ogre, I'm sorry, an orc, excuse me. Maybe even a kobold.
Sure.
Anything small that has like a one-hit dice is usually generally a good area to allow them. And then what I would do as far as if they wanted to continue it and level up, I've done it as far as taking the experience points for a cleric and just using that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
It's kind of like a fair in-between medium as far as the experience points go.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as rolling up stats now, depending on the monster itself, so say like a goblin or an orc or a kobold, for example, I let them roll normal 3d6 for that. But as far as when it comes to intelligence and wisdom, those creatures aren't too big in that area. Mm-hmm. So I kind of have them roll a 2d6 for that.
Sure.
And obviously anything that rolls below unable to communicate, I boost up to the ability to communicate. So, say you get like a 2, which means you can't speak or anything like that, you boost it up. I think, what is it, 4, 5? Ability to grunt. So you boost it up. But things like that, as far as charisma, you just kind of, keep that below 10. You're ugly. But everything else is pretty normal. Like you could do Constitution normally, Dexterity normally, because you could be really quick. So that's how I've done that. As far as hit points, since most hit dices are 1d8, unless otherwise stated, which I don't think I've seen too many in D&D say otherwise. Though I have seen stuff in Basic say there were d10 or d6. So depending on which edition of Basic you're playing.
Right.
For example, Holmes is everything is a d6. For BX, there's I think one creature that's a D10. I can't remember.
I don't remember which one it is though.
Yeah, I think it might be one of the types of dragons, but I'm not sure. I haven't looked at Basic in a long time. But yeah, and as far as the hit dice is concerned, on some of the larger monsters, like I've had characters play Minotaurs.
Mm-hmm.
And for those, what I would do is I'd allow them to play it, since they're a 6 hit dice creature plus 3. I'm going to allow them to play it as is with the hit points, but I'm going to say that they're going to be a severe penalty. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have to gain enough experience to get the 7th level before they even get the 2nd level. So that's kind of my balancing mechanism. They can have the 6 hit dice creature with all the cool abilities and everything like that, but they're a 6th level character pretty much if you look at the hit dice.
Right.
Going up to hit dice. But for them to get the 2nd level, they have to get enough experience as a fighter to get 7th level, to become 2nd level.
Oh, okay.
If you understand what I'm saying. I kind of stole that from the 3rd edition rules, but it kind of works out really good.
Right.
I mean, before 3rd edition was out, I was doing this to begin with, but 3rd edition just kind of made me more organized with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I've done that. What about you, Nick?
Well, what I've done, and for me, this was the easiest thing to do. I did play through 2nd edition AD&D. Now, I have to say, one of the best supplements that I've come across when dealing with the whole, like, if you want to play certain types of, humanoids, is the Splat book, the Complete Book of Humanoids.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really, in my opinion, a really good reference. If anything, to get ideas, maybe if you want to modify to your campaign, and there's some really good ideas on how to introduce certain humanoids into a campaign setting of your making. And one of the things they kind of stressed, if you're going to do this, make the humanoids that are as player characters, they're the oddballs. They're they're few and far between. They're the ones that are not the social norm of the tribe. Let's go with our example, our little goblin from the adventure. Okay. Our little goblin cook. Maybe he's just a little bit different. Maybe he's not so warlike like the rest of the tribe. So maybe his alignment might be different. He might not be typically lawful evil like most goblins. Maybe he's lawful neutral. So that's one of the suggestions they have. They have, like, for our goblin here, they have, like, ability score adjustments. There's a -1 penalty to strength and charisma. Okay. They have ability score ranges, the minimum and maximums, class restrictions. Goblins can only be fighters, clerics, shaman, witch doctors, and thieves. Mm-hmm. And they have maximum levels that they can attain. Like for a goblin fighter, he can reach a max of 10th level.
Okay.
So priest or a cleric, they could reach 9th level. Thief, they could reach 12th.
Okay.
Natural armor class, their background, they can speak Goblin, Kobold, Orc, Goblin, and Common.
Provided they have a good intelligence, though. Right?
Provided they have a good intelligence. Now, it's interesting because I looked at their intelligence and wisdom ranges. They're as normal like any other race, 3 to 18.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
but if you want to modify that, maybe their max score can only be 15 or maybe even 14. Yeah, you can modify. I mean, who's to say that they're not lower intelligence? That's cool. And they also give role-playing suggestions on playing a goblin that's kind of an outcast. They also give what maybe special advantages you have, special disadvantages. They have infravision as far as an advantage. Basically, their advantages are very similar to the dwarves as far as detecting new and unusual construction, underground areas. Disadvantages, though, bright lights hurt goblin eyes. They get a -1 penalty when they are in sunshine. They also have monstrous traits and superstitions. So if you're going to play one of these goblins, maybe you have what are called bestial habits. And that's in the book, too, and they describe that. Also, superstitions. Eternal hatred and fear of gnomes and dwarves. Sensitive to unusual behavior of wargs and wolves. Fearful of dreams and visions. So they have all that in there. So that's a pretty good guideline to go by. When I did my first edition game for my regular group, and I was going to introduce, maybe having like humanoid creatures. I can use this and modify it a little to first edition, which is like really easy to do.
Oh yeah.
I would even add, as far as classes, in my opinion, like if you're talking your goblinoid races, goblins, hobgoblins, kobolds, orcs, your bugbears and what have you. I would even say that they could be barbarians, like a barbarian class.
Oh, I would see that easily, yeah.
Yeah. And if you have a berserker class, I could see them, if you allow the berserker class in your campaign. Yeah, berserkers too. And I think that would be up to the DM as far as level limits. Maybe they can reach, as far as barbarian, I don't know, maybe 9th?
I don't know. Did they have a shaman class in 2nd edition or no?
They have a shaman class that is in the Book of Humanoids.
Okay, then that works.
Shaman, witch doctor. they do have those. They're different. I forget how different they are. I think the Witch Doctor is kind of like, remember, like in first edition, if you're a Witch Doctor, you have access to both cleric and magic user spells, or is it the shaman? I forget.
I thought that was the shaman, though.
It might be the shaman that you could get both. Witch Doctor might be just one particular spell type. I don't remember off the top of my head. I remember you were talking about Minotaurs. Well, there's also write-ups on Minotaurs in here, too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like the Minotaur, you get a +2 bonus to strength and con when rolling them up, -2 to wisdom and charisma. So they got their minimum and maximums in here. Like the strength is a minimum of 12, maximum of 20. So, but the cool thing is, I'm looking at the Minotaurs. Like I do remember, we were playing years and years ago. We were going through Temple of Elemental Evil, and I think almost everybody in the group, we were playing humanoids, and one person played a Minotaur, and I think she played a Ranger Minotaur, which a Minotaur can be a Ranger up to 8th level. They could be magic users up to 8th level, thieves, witch doctors, fighters up to 12th level. So there's all these other things about Minotaurs in there if you want to introduce them in your campaign. So I think it's a really good reference. You can modify it to first edition, like I said, real easy. I would highly recommend this book to anybody who wants to do it. But if you are going to do it, in my opinion, I think you want to limit it to your goblinoid races and a few others, like maybe your Minotaur, lizard men. They do have a write-up on the half ogre and the ogre in here, but I have a real hard time of introducing races that have more than a lot of innate magical abilities.
So something like a vampire or something?
Right. I wouldn't do that. I mean, they have write-ups in here for Ogre Magi, for Ogre Mage. Ogre Mage, that's really powerful.
Mind Flayer?
Not Mind Flayer.
What if I want to be, say, a brown mold?
Then you're playing the wrong game.
Oh, okay.
But they have in here all the different humanoid races: Aarakocra, Alagai, Beastmen, Bugbear, Advanced Bullywugs, Centaurs, which would be cool.
Yeah.
I've always wondered why Centaurs were never a basic character race. I thought they would be really cool.
It might be a cool race, and you'd have to modify it pretty big. A Naga.
Ooh, wow. Yeah.
Make them more like human-like. Oh, I shouldn't say human-like. Two-legged like. Was it bipedal? What I can't pronounce
Bipedal.
it. Bipedal. Thank you. Couldn't pronounce
it.
They
do have in here the Sauriel. The Sauriel from Forgotten Realms. Remember the dinosaur-like creatures?
Oh yeah, I forgot
from like Azure Bonds.
Yeah.
Yes, they do have write-ups on the Sauriel race. You got kobolds, both types of gnolls, the gnoll and the flind. I played a flind in that one campaign I mentioned. I named him, what was his name? Errol Flind.
Another good race to start out, and I don't know how you do it, because he kind of needs to be in water, a Nixie.
Yeah, I think, they have pixies in here.
Yeah, pixies I've seen, but a Nixie would be cool.
Yeah.
And a nymph might be actually kind of work. You can work. No, it's too hot. No, hit dice at 3. That's not that bad.
Yeah, you could work that in. But the cool thing is, they have for each of the humanoid races in here, if you're going to use any of these, they do. I mean, they accumulate hit dice and everything, just like in that class that they're playing.
Yeah.
So that makes it easy. Now, as far as like other races, like there's some of these I just look at, I think they'd just be too overpowering, like the Ogre Mage, Pixie, Swan May. Swan May has innate magical abilities. Those just kind of like, I don't know. This just kind of makes them overpowering in a way.
What if you want to be like an otter?
An otter?
Yes.
Well, if you're playing Hackmaster, they do have the Otter Men.
Or you could be like an owl.
An owl? Play an owl?
Yeah, it's a 4 hit dice creature, so.
A giant owl? Okay.
Sure.
But, yeah, I don't know of any other, besides the later editions of D&D where they had, you could play like almost anything. You could play like a gelatinous cube or a rust monster. But
you know, it'd be kind of cool. A whole campaign, the whole party is pixies.
That would be fun.
Yeah, just a one shot. Like everybody's a pixie, and they have to go take out something or.
Yeah, maybe a vicious group of leprechauns stole their, they're always after their Lucky Charms. I don't know.
Or a quasit.
Quasit? Oh my gosh. Group of quasits and imps.
Or just be like, a rat.
That would be so cool.
Oh.
That wouldn't be so much fun.
No,
I think more intelligent creatures would be fun.
Or how about like a rot grub?
Now that's ridiculous. Now I do recall in the Dungeon Master's Guide there was that one page where it said Gary talks about monsters as player characters. And
yeah, he says, I don't recommend it.
I don't recommend it.
His words.
Yeah. It was kind of like...
No.
Yeah. Just like, you could do it, but...
No. He simply just says no.
Just no.
In case you want to...
It's like my daughter would say, Dad, just no. Just no.
Yeah. But if you want to do it, here's a way.
Yeah, there's a way to do it, and the impression that you get, and I think it was page 22, like I said, on the DMG, you want to be, as the DM, you want to be very, very careful on what they're going to play and how it could, affect, the whole overall campaign. And I think that also kind of gets into a certain degree when, you have characters that, might become were creatures. They get affected with lycanthropy. How do you handle that as a DM? I think that kind of fits into there.
Oh, it'd be a great adventure is have a couple, if you have like the 2-3 players.
Yeah.
Make them whites. Think about that. Make them whites and they have to survive.
Oh, jeez.
And they're trapped somewhere and they have to find their way out and they have to feed.
You are the evil GM.
Yes, I am. Right. Like, that'd be kind of cool, because think about it.
That would be cool.
As a white, you feed off of other people, so when you're trapped somewhere, you're hungry, you're getting hungrier, and it's kind of like being a normal person, but these have to feed. Otherwise, they have to just hibernate. So they're going to have to be roaming around, trying to find their way out, and they have to feed on whatever they find.
Yep.
Like, I was reading another game the other day. What was it? Remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I got the rules.
Yeah,
by Palladium.
Right. I was reading the original book, which was the hardcore one, which they kind of outlawed, and they had to make a second edition of the book.
Yes, I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah. Anyway, but the point was there's one adventure that one of the they mentioned in there is the group is maybe they want to become these monsters that would go out and flag people down on the highways and trap them and bring them to their place and kind of eat them for a living. And that's the adventure. I was like, damn.
It's kind of like a monster version of Hotel California.
I was like, damn. What? No wonder they outlawed this book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting to see someone actually put that suggestion up. And not for, a good... Because every suggestion you always get in the book says, well, they're good players, and they're going to fight on the good side, and...
Ugh.
So, it was kind
and you're like, boring.
Yeah, but it was kind of interesting to see, they form a group, and they're eating people as opposed to saving people, so...
Eating people.
Yeah.
Soylent Green.
It's made of human...
It's made of people.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just looking on the dndclassics.com site.
Oh.
Complete Book of Humanoids is not available yet.
Huh. It says
but
coming soon?
I would expect it in the near future.
Oh, it says coming soon or something?
No, but they've been pretty good updating little bits of here and there. They got the complete book of dwarves, but
you know what they could be doing? They could be waiting because of the aren't the second edition reprints due out sometime this month or next month?
I thought it was sometime this summer. Yeah.
Oh, was it? I thought it was June.
Player's Handbook and DMG was like sometime in the next few months.
Oh yeah. Well, so maybe they're waiting to do.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But I, if you could still find anybody out there, I highly recommend it. If anything, it's a good reference, at least to draw inspiration from to your game. So, take a look at it if you can.
You could find that book in probably if you have a half-price books. I've seen.
Oh yeah, half-price books. Probably find it on eBay for dirt cheap.
Tons of second edition stuff always at half-price books. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's just like people just don't care about it. They just sell these, like especially Player's Options. I always see those books.
Oh my god, Player's Options series was no.
And I see a lot of the Splat books too.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I recall. I mean, but there was also that glut of Splat books that happened in 3rd edition too. After they had the Open Gaming license, everybody and their brother was producing a Splat book.
Yeah, whenever I go into half-price books, I see either 2nd edition or 4th edition.
Yeah. So. Well, some people are getting get a lot of mileage out of 3rd edition stuff because it's compatible with Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So
they've been buying those up. So yeah. Anyway, I believe that's gonna put a little end to the show this week. Yeah, a little short and sweet show, but something that a little food for thought for everybody. I like the idea. Just kind of recap on the whole humanoid thing. Maybe have 1 or 2 characters in the group that's one's maybe a kobold, the other one's a gnoll. I don't know, but I think it's a really cool idea, but they're the oddballs. Play them that way. Yeah. So definitely it'd be kind of interesting story to see how all these monsters gathered together to work together, because they're not commonly type of monsters you put together as friends. Well, right, even that, or you might have just a party of regular type of demi-humans and humans, and up along comes this goblin, and he wants to join your group. It makes the very interesting role-playing challenge, because now you have this goblin who wants to, who knows he's different, and he wants to live amongst the others that he feels that he might be able to interact with. But what happens when he gets into like a city or to a village? It's going to be a heck of a role-playing opportunity. Oh yeah, you have to disguise his face a lot, and right. He's the outcast. Mm-hmm. It's like a goblin amongst us. Destroy him. He's going to get pretty much the same looks and things as a half-orc would probably get, even worse. Right, or even worse, even a half-orc for most of the time, or half of the time. I don't think I've ever played in a game that I've had a half-orc in. Have you? I have. Yeah, I've never. Oh, yeah. No player has ever picked a half-orc. And they've always played cleric assassins. Never straight fire. It's always cleric assassin half-orc. What are you going to do? Wow. So that's going to conclude the show of issue 114 for volume number 3. Yeah. Before we close. Oh, okay. I would like to put this out to anybody who's actually done this in their campaign. Added like humanoid races as characters. And like if anybody has stories, let us know. I would like to hear them. Write it in, drop it on Facebook, call us in, leave us a voicemail. Prove that Kojo is not the only one that leaves voicemails. Yeah. Even though we love Kojo. So. No, we like Kojo. He's great. Kojo's awesome. Yeah. Kojo, I want a 9-minute phone call from you next time. No, I'm kidding. All right. Anyway, so we're going to say keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Happy gaming. Yay.
Roll for initiative.